Hello nerds. Today I thought I would sit down, not in my Herman Miller chair, but in the one I stole from my dad because I'm moving in a few days, or hopefully. I thought I'd sit down and tell you about my computer science degree. People are interested in it apparently and want to know what it's like. So I thought I would sit down and talk about it. Just disclaimer, I did not go to an Ivy League school or a school in the US. I also struggled with the immigration lawyers to prove that my 4-year Canadian degree is equivalent to a 4-year US degree. But the way I would describe my school is like the show Community, like that community college.
Welcome to Ladders.
But just the Canadian university equivalent. All of the chaos you can imagine. I think it was like top tier, specifically in the CS department. Like we have some infamous professors, like worldwide infamous. It was entertaining, I will say that. And I did get an education. Also, a quick disclaimer, Little Miss COVID decided to have some impeccable timing, and I've been sick for about a week when right before I was supposed to immigrate. That's why I'm still here filming this video for you. Alright, let's start, I guess, with the fall semester of 2018. When I first entered university, I declared myself as an engineering major, and at my school we have a first year general engineering program where you try out different things. And the first coding course I ever took in university was called Computational Thinking through Mechatronics. Very random name, kind of does make sense. It was really fun actually. Like this course was so good, except not the lectures because there was like a huge 500 hall class and no one was listening to the prof. Bless his soul, I love this guy, but half of the people didn't want to be there because they're just like never gonna use this. The other half already know this kind of stuff, like the software and those types of majors, so no one gave a fuck. The labs were fun though. The labs were amazing. We got to build little robots. We did a lab where it would like track you clapping, or we had a little like robot going around a course and you had to program that. I was one of the first people who would always leave the lab first, or I would be helping other people. So then my professor knew me and like would always make jokes like, oh, you already done the lab, Maria. Oh, it was also in MATLAB. So a lot of people used MATLAB in this other course, which was linear algebra. So they would learn how to program their assignments in MATLAB so they didn't have to do their assignments. And I was like, whatever, I have to do this mental math because that's the thing. Like in every math course I took, you weren't allowed to use a calculator in university, even in like exams or anything. I thought it would have made more sense to use my brain to practice as well. So yeah, in first semester I also took linear algebra with an infamous professor who you might have seen all over Reddit. Interesting guy. And he made us call him ET because no one could say his name. Oh, Calculus 1. I had this Russian professor who was very nice and by the book. Like we got along well, but nobody else liked him except me because I guess I was like a teacher's pet. Like I would go after class and help him wipe the chalkboard and ask questions. Also in that semester, I took these other 2 courses you had to for engineering, which were Renaissance Engineering 1, because my school wants people to be Renaissance engineers. We were building things and we had this exam where we were talking about like this case study and you had to say like what went wrong, like what engineering decisions did they do that were wrong, and also estimating how many porta potties were needed at this like event, like in the case. That was very weird. It was like a problem solving course, estimation, and communication. And I also had to take physics 1800, which is engineering mechanics, and engineering physics is hard. And oh yeah, I also forgot to mention, why did I even go into engineering? It was because I was always good at writing, so English and biology, just naturally. And the things I was the worst at were coding, math, and physics. And then I was like, oh, it's gonna be so boring if I just cop out and study biology in university. So why don't I just take a major that combines all the things I suck at? So that's why I signed up for engineering. I don't know. My mom calls me a masochist. Whatever. I had fun. I got better at it. That was like the goal, was like, hey, I already suck at this shit. Let's see if I can get better. And apparently I did because I somehow got a degree in it. So there you go. You can do anything if I can do it too. And then actually it was funny in that course, the labs were so ahead of the lectures and they would always have lab quizzes that I would fail. Also, I annoyed the TAs so much because I didn't know what was going on. I didn't like have time to study ahead. In the last lab, one of the TAs even asked me, they were like, so are you gonna drop the course? Like, why would you say that to a student? I don't know. But I ended up getting an A in that course. So in second semester of first year, I switched to computer science because I got into the Shopify dev degree program. So to be in that, I had to be a computer science major, and I was going to switch anyways because engineering felt like a waste of money to me, like too many courses that are not necessary. I took Calculus 2, which I had 3 professors for. We had this one professor that was new named also Maria, and Professor Maria ended up being crazy. She kept getting in fights with the department because students kept complaining that she wasn't like speaking loud enough, she wasn't using a mic, she wasn't using the chalkboard lights, and we couldn't read her writing. My friend said, like, can you write more neatly? And she said, no, I'm gonna be girly and write in cursive the way I want to. And the best part was, she wasn't even teaching us Calculus 2. She was teaching us a completely different math course. Then they fired her, and she would post things on her Facebook page, the emails between her and the heads of the department, and we were all just like glued to Facebook at that time. But we had the other, like the 2 heads of the math department as our teachers for like the next 2 months, and they actually taught us the course. They were the best like math teachers I've ever had. One of them would give us like candies and stuff for our tests. But then the other one was really hard, and he taught the hardest part of the course, so I didn't do as well on that, and he also did the exam. So yeah, that was an interesting semester. Oh, I also took my first discrete math course. Discrete math is interesting. It's like P implies Q, proving this thing is that thing. I don't know. It's interesting, and you have to take 2 of those. You have to know how to do proofs, essentially, is what you'll see throughout this video, is that you can't run away from discrete math and computer science, no matter how hard you try. The computer science course I took was ECS 1022 in that semester, programming for mobile computing, where my laptop would heat up so much that I could actually cook an egg because of the lovely Android Studio that I had to install. That course was interesting because it taught like the fundamentals of Java and certain data structures. It was a fun course. We made cool little tiny Android apps. Also, I had to take industry practicum courses, which is a part of like the Shopify dev degree program where you had to write about your internships, and those were not very fun. The summer after first year, we had to take these 3 courses because in the program that I was in with Shopify, they're trying to make you do all your courses, like your CS courses, ahead of time, and then you do your electives at the end. So I took the 3 worst courses ever. Like this is the hardest semester, I will say, of my entire computer science degree, because first year is easy, second year is hell, third year is okay, and fourth year I was told would be easy, but it was also hell. But that's my fault because of the courses I signed up for. Because first year is high level programming languages like JavaScript, MATLAB, Java, and then it goes into fucking C and assembly language. Oh god. Yeah. So the course Computer Organization that I took, ECS 2021, was taught by the devil himself. Every single lab we had every week was a lab test, and every week we were counting up the percentages that we got in that course because we all thought we were gonna fail because that's how hard it was. So half of the course was about assembly language taught in RISC-V, which basically had no documentation online, and our professor was absolutely horrible. Like, he would not teach us anything related to RISC-V in class. We just had to learn it on our own, and at least I had one friend who was actually good at it and interested in it, so he was teaching us. So in the second half of that course, we had to design a CPU using Verilog, which was actually very interesting, but also still pretty hard. So I think that was one of the hardest courses I took in my entire computer science degree. Also, I took in that summer software tools, which was the course where we learned C and Unix. So that was pretty interesting. So like terminal stuff, looking like a hacker. Okay, intro to logic for computer science. It's just discrete math too. Not a good course. I took it also in the evenings, so that was bad. Like 7 to 10 p.m. classes are rough, and you want to fall asleep. Discrete math was not very fun for me. I know it was fun for other people. Maybe my brain just doesn't work that right way. I don't know. Moving into second year or sophomore year of computer science. What did I even take? Okay. Because I switched into computer science late, I had to take this course, Research Directions in Computing, which is just a 1-credit course, because usually our courses are 3 credits. So it's a full year thing where you go in like every week or something, and there will be a new speaker. You just pass or fail it, essentially. Introduction to the Theory of Computation. This is one of my favorite courses in computer science. It was basically like a mixture of linguistics and computer science combined. How do computers think, essentially, and compute things? So computers have an alphabet, and then they have a language, and they have syntax, and all of these things that you would learn as a linguistics student, but in terms of a computer. And it basically leads all the way up to Turing machines, and also like it was like finite automata and all this stuff. It was very, very interesting. Highly recommend reading up on this, even if you're not in a computer science program. It's very fun. That was a hard course, but our professor was amazing. He looked like Einstein. Like, he had the short hair like this, and then a bald spot, and then huge mustache, and it's all white. And he would start class saying, "Are you ready for the performance?" Because he also wrote Polish plays, so he's a very cool guy. Advanced object-oriented programming, which was in Java. My Aussie professor was so smart, and he was really good at explaining things, so I came out of that course really having a good understanding of object-oriented programming, and I did really well in that course because I had experience with it before. But yeah, I got really, really good at it. Fundamentals of data structures. Okay, I took all of my data structures and algorithms courses with one professor, and I think he gave me Stockholm Syndrome because I love this guy, but he also crushed my GPA, hurt my brain so much. Yeah, he was great. Very good at explaining things, and he will prepare you for interviews. That's why I took him, because he like drills it into your head. You will come out of any course you take with him knowing a lot. So that's why I took courses with him. That's why whenever I saw his name, I'm like, I'm taking a course with you, sir, because he is a good teacher. But the way he tests you is hard. Once it became COVID, which is what happened in my second year, which in this winter semester. And then the way he tested us was using multiple choice, which is a garbage way to test people, because then you can't see their thinking process and that type of thing. You don't get par marks. So every single course I did with him, I was barely scraping by. Also, I took this third year course in my second year, which was operating system fundamentals, with the worst professor in my university's program. Honestly, he did not give a fuck about us. That was a very interesting course in theory, but I did not have fun. I really dreaded going to class, and I did like come out of it knowing some things, but I felt like the group projects that I had to do, like my group wasn't very good. I didn't get to like push myself to learn stuff because one of my friends was good at it, so he was kind of taking over the project. In the future, I did have to do stuff related to operating systems, like in my internships, like working with threads and that kind of thing. It's like I had to learn on my own because I didn't learn it in this course. I also took psychology that year, which was really good. Okay, in the summer of 2020, before my third year, I took Intro to Database Systems, which was super interesting. Highly recommend. I also took Elementary Probability, which was my last math course. So in total, I took 6 maths, I think. Yeah. I would recommend doing all your maths together, because by this time, it was 1 year of me not doing math, so I'd forgotten everything. And this probability course was very difficult. And also, I took this really cool history course called Vice, Deviance, and Bad Behavior in North America since the 1600s. In my third year, junior year, one of the requirements was that I had to take at least one more science. I asked my friends in biology which one's better, and they're like, chemistry's easier. No, it was fucking not. It was horrible, and now I hate gases. Plus it was online, which was a bonus because then I didn't have to do labs, in-person labs. You just have to watch a video of the professor doing the lab, and then they would give you random like numbers and you had to do them. That wasn't too bad, but I realized that I'm not good at chemistry anymore. At least it wasn't organic chemistry though. And also that semester I took Professional Practice in Computing, which is a course they only run once a year, and it's an ethics course, so every computer science student has to take it. And I took that with all of my friends during COVID. We were all at home, and we were all totally being academically honest together when we would join a Discord call for 10 minutes every single Monday. I also took the continuation course of data structures, which was Design and Analysis of Algorithms. Very interesting course. That's kind of what got me good at interviewing, because you learn about the different ways of thinking. I think that's the main thing. It's like, how do you solve a problem? Like the framework of solving a problem is what's most important from that class, not the algorithms that you learn, but how to approach a problem that's given to you in any setting. But obviously interviews, they ask these types of questions. So it made me have that confidence to go into interviews and solve questions. Because it was online, my professor would just record himself giving lecture, and we would watch that. And then our lecture times were actually tutorials where we would solve questions with him. So that was good, but also I was too nervous to speak up sometimes. Okay, so the courses that I decided to take are questionable at best. Applied Cryptography, I wouldn't take that again, but whatever. It was like a group project stuff. Ugh, not for me. Introduction to Computer Security, super easy. Also would not take that again. Now I know I don't care about security at least, so I learned that. Computer network protocols and applications was very interesting. So learning how does the internet work, TCP, UDP, all these protocols, interesting course, at least in my opinion. Then in the summer of 2021, I only took one course because I was doing 2 internships. So I took the anthropology course, race, racism, and pop culture. I really enjoyed it. I would recommend anthropology courses to anyone who's interested in and looking for an elective to take. They're amazing. Oh my god, why did it take me like 20 minutes to realize that they literally put the class average on my official transcript? Wow. I didn't even know any of these class averages when I was doing the courses. Just makes me feel kind of good about myself. What did I do in 4th year? 4th year was my electives year. But also, you thought I would have senioritis? No. I had whatever the opposite of senioritis was because I thought I was going to actually fail and not graduate. Because I took machine learning and pattern recognition. Made me cry. Hardest course of undergrad by far. Like that and the computer organization one from 2nd year. I wanted to drop that course. Like this is the one course that I ever wanted to drop. And then my friend told me not to because she needed my help to pass. We did it together. Intro to microeconomics because people also recommended that. And I don't trust any of you people who recommended that course to me because that was the worst course I've ever taken also in my life. Like that and chemistry. No. Not for me. I also took advanced data structures with the same professor. 3rd time's a charm, right? No, I still would get 40% on all of his tests. It was amazing, but I passed. What did I get in that course? A C. C's get degrees like they always say. And here I am with a degree. Actually, that's my only C. So, oh yeah, advanced data structures was very interesting. And I was actually trying in that course. I was actually participating in class at some point, like, you know, for at least the first month. And then the other 2 months, I just like, my brain went away. And me and my friends were trying to figure out the assignments together. They're not easy, but I feel like it was easier than the 3rd year course of algorithm. But yeah, advanced data structures, you only take it if it's for fun. And as you can see, the class size was 43. So the class sizes drop significantly in 4th year because no one wanted to take all the random ass courses that I was taking. I also took information networks that semester, which was super cool. It was about how everything is a network. Everything is a graph, like the internet, buses, all this stuff. So then we had to have a group project, like that was the main portion of your grade, and essentially do research on this and code something about it, literally write a research paper about it. So my group, we were like, oh yeah, let's shoot for the stars and talk about how we can predict the delays in buses. And no, we cannot. That is way too hard. And plus the data for the Toronto Transit Commission is the worst fucking shit I've ever seen in my life. How did it go? Like 1 month, they're storing it one way. The 2nd month, they're storing it a different way. And it just like goes randomly. And we had to like clean the data. And then when we saw the data, we're like, no, we can't do this. I don't know how they do any data analysis whatsoever there. We decided to see instead what happens when we remove bus stops. Like how effective is the network then? So we coded that up. Most of my stuff in 3rd and 4th year, I will say, was in Python. Oh, I forgot to talk about this other course in 3rd year. My software design course. Yeah, I completely skipped that. So yeah, in 3rd year, that's when I started taking Python courses because our software design course used to be taught in Eiffel and then it was switched to Python or Java. Yeah, so going back to 4th year, I also took this course about data mining, which was not very interesting, would not recommend. But the best course I took was big data systems, like by far one of the most useful courses I took in all of my computer science degree. How is big data stored? How does that work? So you learn like Docker, which I think you should learn earlier, MapReduce, a bunch of different like data technology. Oh yeah, Spark, those types of things. And they gave you a cloud instance. Like the labs were very difficult. This was one of the hardest courses, but also one of the most worth it courses in terms of how applicable is this to real life. And if you want to be a data engineer, this is like your day-to-day life, essentially. And also, my favorite courses I took that year were elementary modern standard Korean, because I wanted to take a language in my last year. And then Japanese was at a bad time, so I took Korean instead. And now I can say some things in Korean. I made lots of friends, and I also made a weird video. I'll link it in the description if you want to watch my final project Korean video. And also, I'm going to end this video on the best course that I took that's not in computer science, but it was like literally the best course I ever took. Acting for non-acting majors. It just helps you in life in general and you learn about yourself. Small class size. It helps with public speaking. It helps with confidence. It helps with your creativity. I don't know. There were just so many benefits from it. So I don't know why more people don't do it. It was just so much fun. I would highly, highly, highly recommend this. Yeah, that is the end of my transcript. and therefore the end of my video about my computer science degree. I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you learned something. And I hope you have fun studying computer science too, if that's what you're doing right now or in the future. One thing I ask of you is, if you have any ideas of what to do with my hair, please comment them. Thanks for watching this video, and I'll see you next time. Bye!